Max Verstappen had a tough time in the Barcelona race, ending up with just 1 point despite fighting for a spot on the podium. The race saw him lose his cool, especially in the last few laps, where he exchanged some harsh words with his team over the radio and clashed physically with George Russell on track. With his team's strategy faltering as he tries to hold on to his championship hopes, many are wondering if Verstappen might consider switching teams. Even more pressing is what consequences his collision with Russell will have for the rest of 2025. There's no doubt Verstappen was visibly upset throughout the race, and with good reason. Late in the race, he had to battle both McLaren drivers while running on a fresh set of hard tires. Yes, the hard compound, which is usually less competitive in such conditions. Some may blame his team's decision on the tire choice, but, realistically, they had very few options left. When Verstappen questioned the tire choice on the radio, the reply was straightforward. There were no other new tires available. Both the soft and medium tires had been worn out during qualifying and the race, so the hard tires were his only chance to continue. The problem was, these hard tires never really reached the right temperature, making it difficult for Verstappen to keep control. At the safety car restart, on the main straight, he lost control of the car's rear and almost crashed. Russell seized the moment to overtake him. Verstappen was furious, accusing Russell of making contact with him on the straight, while Russell was simply trying to gain position in the heat of the battle. Soon after, Verstappen was ordered by his race engineer to let Russell pass. This added to his frustration, as he had to give up fourth place to the British driver. Verstappen complied after exiting the fourth turn, but as both entered the next corner, Verstappen suddenly rammed into Russell. It was a reckless move, surprising. Many given his status as a multiple world champion. This kind of reaction, especially because of frustration with strategy, is hard to justify. Even the team's choice, although questionable, doesn't fully explain this aggressive behavior. Many people, including former F1 champion Nico Rosberg, spoke out about Verstappen's collision with Russell. Rosberg described the incident as very leniently treated and compared it to a past collision between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton in 2017, where Vettel received a much harsher penalty. Rosberg even suggested that Verstappen should have been disqualified immediately for his actions, calling the move deliberate and dangerous. This brings up an important point. What if Verstappen's actions cost Russell a better finish? Russell was racing well, making the most of his opportunities, and putting pressure on Verstappen until the Dutch driver made a mistake. It seemed likely that Russell would have overtaken Verstappen fairly in the closing stages anyway. So Verstappen's collision was not only unnecessary, but unfair to a fellow competitor. Rosberg emphasized his view by saying, Verstappen deserved the black flag for intentionally crashing into Russell. According to Rosberg, Verstappen was right. To be frustrated initially, but losing his temper and hitting another driver crosses a line in professional racing. Verstappen took the penalty information from his engineer calmly, which might suggest he realized his mistake by the end of the race. Still, such behavior needs to be dealt with more strictly in the sport. Pressure is high for drivers who carry the hopes of their team, especially those considered the top contender, but deliberately ruining another driver's race because of strategy issues is unacceptable. Part of Verstappen's frustration came from being the only driver on the track, using hard tires for so long, making him vulnerable in the final laps. Everyone knew he would struggle against rivals on fresher, softer tires, but this doesn't justify aggressive collisions or reckless driving. Verstappen's performance in Barcelona brought back memories of his earlier, more aggressive driving style, something many thought he had outgrown after winning multiple championships. His actions seemed to undo much of the maturity and composure he had shown in recent seasons. Instead of the calm, strategic racer fans had come to expect, this race highlighted a side of him driven by frustration and impatience. Last year, Russell himself commented on Verstappen's temperament, saying that when things don't go his way, Verstappen tends to lose control. This was evident in Budapest last year as well, where Verstappen attempted a risky move on Lewis Hamilton that nearly caused a crash. Some might argue that racing at this level involves intense emotions and close contact, but deliberately causing collisions crosses a boundary. There was also the fact that Russell's presence on the straight had upset Verstappen, who mentioned it on the radio. In racing, such battles happen constantly, and drivers often use every inch of the track to gain advantage. Russell's clever use of this moment showed his racing intelligence, while Verstappen's mistake cost him dearly. Looking at the bigger picture, Red Bull's strategy errors have put Verstappen in a difficult position. The team is currently sitting fourth in the constructors' standings, which has serious implications for the Drivers' Championship. Verstappen's lead over some of his closest rivals has shrunk, and his mistakes on track only add to the pressure. The upcoming races will be crucial. If Verstappen fails to climb back into the top position soon, rumors about his future with Red Bull might resurface. Already there's talk that he could look for other opportunities if the team doesn't improve, especially with new regulations coming that might change the competitive landscape. Currently, Verstappen is placed third in the driver standings, with 137 points, but he trails significantly behind the top two McLaren drivers. Lando Norris leads by 39 points, and Oscar Piastri is even further ahead by 49 points. Statistically, Verstappen is closer to Russell than to the frontrunners, showing how much ground he has lost. This situation raises questions about whether we might see a different approach from Verstappen as the season moves forward. Though Verstappen has signed with Red Bull until at least 2026 to see how the new rules impact the team, the option to leave early still exists. If Red Bull continues to stumble, it's possible that Verstappen could activate that exit clause. Given his talent and reputation, other top teams, especially Mercedes, would likely be interested in securing his services. Mercedes team principal, Toto Wolff, has acknowledged ongoing talks with Verstappen. While the chances of a transfer happening soon are slim, even a small possibility keeps the speculation alive. Aston Martin's new project also adds another layer to Verstappen's future considerations, as the team aims to challenge for top positions. The next few races will be critical for Verstappen's championship bid and his standing within Red Bull. If the team doesn't improve, and if Verstappen's form doesn't pick up, the coming months could see major changes. Fans and experts alike will be watching closely to see how this situation develops. Looking back at Verstappen's actions in Barcelona, it's clear that his frustration boiled over in a way that cost him dearly. The collision with Russell wasn't just a moment of lost control. It reflected deeper challenges within the team and his own mindset. While his talent remains undeniable, moments like these remind everyone that racing is as much about patience and strategy as it is about speed. His strategy this season has shown cracks, and Red Bull's struggles with tire choices and race execution have put Verstappen in a tough spot. Still, deliberately compromising another driver's race is hard to defend, regardless of the pressure. The sport demands professionalism, especially from champions, and Verstappen's conduct sparked strong reactions from both fans and former racers. With the championship battle heating up, every point matters more than ever. Verstappen's current gap to the leaders and his rivals means he must find consistency and control in his driving. Otherwise, the early setbacks might define his 2025 season. Moreover, how Verstappen handles the fallout from this incident could influence his relationship with the team and his place in Formula One's future landscape. It's a turning point not just for the driver, but for the sport itself, as it highlights the high stakes and intense emotions involved in top-level racing. The ongoing debate about Verstappen's future in Formula One has intensified following the Barcelona race. Many experts and fans wonder if he will stay loyal to Red Bull or consider switching teams if the current situation does not improve. Verstappen is known for his competitiveness and desire to drive the fastest car possible. If Red Bull struggles under new regulations or fails to keep pace, it's not hard to imagine him exploring other options. On the other hand, Red Bull has built a strong relationship with Verstappen over the years, supporting him through highs and lows. The team's ability to bounce back from setbacks will be tested in the coming races. For Verstappen, maintaining focus and avoiding on-track incidents like the one with Russell will be essential if he wants to maximize his chances in the championship. Meanwhile, rival teams like Mercedes and Aston Martin are watching closely. Mercedes' interest in Verstappen signals that the Dutch driver remains one of the most valuable assets on the grid. Aston Martin's new project also offers a potential alternative for Verstappen if he decides to make a change in the future. The sport as a whole faces an exciting yet uncertain period. With drivers like Verstappen at the center of attention, every race weekend will bring fresh drama and important developments. Fans should keep a close eye on how the rest of the season unfolds. To sum it all up, Max Verstappen's race in Barcelona was a mix of frustration, fierce competition, and crucial mistakes. His aggressive reaction to the situation cost him valuable points and raised serious questions about his future with Red Bull. The team's strategy missteps played a big role in the challenges he faced, but as a top-level driver, controlling emotions is just as important as speed on the track. With new regulations coming up and strong rivals gaining ground, Verstappen needs to find consistency and focus if he wants to stay at the top. The pressure is immense, and every decision he makes will have consequences for the rest of the season and beyond. Will Verstappen rise above the setbacks and reclaim his dominant form? Or will the struggles signal a shift in Formula One's power balance? Only time will tell. One thing is clear: this season promises to be full of surprises and intense battles. What's your take on Verstappen's actions and future prospects? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for sticking with us through this analysis. Keep following for more updates on the world of racing.